Please be seated, members of the jury. And now the summation on behalf of Mr. Guo will be presented by Mr. Siddhartha Kamraju.
In 2017, he began to speak out against the CCP. He started with that Voice of America interview on April 19, 2017. And during that interview, he started criticizing officials in the party, in a way that, even according to the government's own witnesses, others had never done before, in a way that shocked people, in a way the Communist Party didn't like. But the CCP's reaction was swift and severe. Just look at the timeline of events around the VOA interview. On April 18, 2017, PX filed its litigation against Miles Guo in New York. The following day China announced it filed an Interpol red notice seeking his arrest. That's the same day that the VOA interview was cut off abruptly, right as Mr. Guo was criticizing the CCP. And as you heard, this was just the beginning of the CCP's effort to silence him. You heard how on May 2017 the CCP dispatched that team of undeclared Chinese agents to coerce him to return to China. And you saw in the translations of the calls and meetings between Mr. Guo and those Chinese agents, you heard the deal the CCP was offering him to be quiet. You can have your family back. You can have your money back. You can have your life back. But you know what happened next? Mr. Guo turned that down. He kept going, kept criticizing the CCP, kept speaking out publicly. And the CCP kept going too. That same year it stood up that group of Chinese agents, specially dedicated to harassing and trying to discredit this man. The power of a nation to discredit one man. It starts paying people to protest him here in America. It bribed American citizens to lobby the Trump administration to send him back. You even heard from George Higginbotham, a former DOJ employee, about how he met with the Chinese ambassador to discuss how to convince the Trump administration to send him back. The CCP made him the #1 priority of its repatriation efforts. It tried to kidnap him. The CCP also tried to stop US social media companies from giving him a platform to speak. Because as you heard, as much as anything, what Mr. Guo was doing that infuriated the CCP was speaking publicly. He was broadcasting, and his broadcasting was becoming more and more popular. He was picking up followers from here in the United States all the way to Australia. To use Bo Collins and Limari Reyes' words, it was a following of like-minded individuals, all committed to one overarching goal: to free the people of China of the repressive Communist Party. And so, yes, a movement was born, the Whistleblower Movement. A movement to tell the truth about the CCP, to wake up the people of China. About the truth, about the corrupt government that ruled over them. Because that's the thing, the government wants you to believe that there was an enterprise here. You know what, they're right. But it's not a racketeering enterprise. It's a political one, a political enterprise of people banded together to bring down one of the world's most powerful governments. And so that's what they set out to do. They started setting up the infrastructure to help carry that movement forward. We'll talk about each of these in detail, but just think about it. They set up the Rule of Law Foundation and Society nonprofit organizations, formed to advance the movement's advocacy. They set up GTV, a social media platform that would bring the truth about the CCP to people in China and around the world. They created the Farms, a group of volunteers that put their time, efforts, and money toward the movement's goals. They created G Club, a membership club intended toward high-net-worth Chinese people who believe in the fight against the CCP. And they created the Himalaya Exchange, a cryptocurrency exchange intended to give people the ability to move their money freely, without interference from an oppressive regime like the CCP. It is indisputable the Whistleblower Movement and these businesses were intertwined. Even if there wasn't a complete overlap, even if you can't say it's one-to-one between the NFSC and G Club, the government cannot seriously dispute that the target audience for the Rule of Law Foundation or GTV, or the Farms or G Clubs or the Exchange, are the members of this movement. That's their entire theory really. That Mr. Guo used these businesses to steal from the members of the movement. And even their own witnesses told you that. Remember Lozhou? He told you that he bought G Fashion because he understood that it would support the movement. Or Patrick Chen, who told you that he didn't really believe Mr. Guo's promises of high return, but he wanted to support GTV's mission to help people in China. Or Limari Reyes, who told you that part of why members bought G Club membership, because of the social bond that members felt, knowing that they're all part of a club with the same mission. You cannot take the movement out of this.